Hey, so today I'm going to talk about what I think I would do if I was rich. Now, I, I, I preface the whole what I think I would do because, well, let's be honest, we all have ideas of what we think we can do, and then it usually ends up not being like we thought at all. Because the reality is, I feel like I've seen it a lot on the internet where there's always like someone who talks about what they would do with a lot of money, right? They're always like, if I had a lot of money, I'd give back and I do so much good with it, and I would try to keep myself in a stable life, and then if I had excess money, I'd give it to those in need, all that kind of shit. And then they end up being those people who buy very expensive things. They go bankrupt almost instantly the second they get handed a shitload of money. Now, I'm not going to pretend like I'm some saint. I'm not gonna pretend like as soon as I have a bunch of money, I'm just gonna like walk out into the street and start handing like $100 bills off to random people. Just be like, please do good with this money. I hope the best for you. Because no, the reality is, if I have a lot of money, I'm more than likely gonna hoard it because I don't like spending money a lot of the time for some things. Like I'd probably keep the most of the money to myself, and I would prefer to have a lot of money and to a point where I can live stably, because I don't want to buy like a mansion or a big fancy car. I would just want a a place to live that is not expensive but also is good, not falling apart, not shitty and filled with bugs. Like if I had a lot of money, I would just want like an average place that is at least good so that it doesn't need to be constantly repaired. You know what I mean? And then if I had a lot of money left over, I'd probably either A, hoard it, or B, do something with it, but not like just throw it all away, right? Because like I like the idea of like charity stuff. That's like I don't have a problem with like charity stuff, and I'd probably give money to charity if I had it. But here's the thing that I was talking about thinking what you would do with money. Because we all have these ideas of what we would do in specific situations, right? I talked about fame and like entitlement. I think that was the name of the video, Fame and Entitlement, where I talked about this idea of like someone becomes famous and they become entitled, right? But sometimes when people become famous, they're not like that. Like they're like sometimes they're just like, I'm just happy to be doing this, and maybe I can make some money off it and I can, do something with my life. And then they become like entitled brats and they just want everything, and oh, they're not going to do this project because they're not getting enough money from it, or they're going to look down on others for not having the same amount of money as them, right? And the reason I say what I think I would do if I was rich is because I don't know. I've never been rich. I don't know what would happen. Would the money go to my head? I don't fucking know. And people can try and be like, "Well, you should know," but you can't, because a lot of the time, with like I said, with like famous people, a lot of them, before they become famous, they didn't have like some ulterior motive where they're like, yes, I'm gonna be an asshole once I become famous. They're just like, their first goal is that they want to be famous, and then whatever comes with that fame is what was decided after they became famous. The same with like those stories, right? Those stories of like lottery winners, right? And the lottery winners, they get like millions of dollars, and they were just like average people. But what do they do with it? The first thing they do is they like divorce their significant other so they don't have to share the money. They cut their family off because they don't want their family coming for their money. They quit their jobs without knowing if they're even going to be smart with their money. And then they spend it on ridiculous shit, and it goes to their head. And then once they're out of money, they're just like, oh shit, I ruined my life. So the reality is, I can know myself, and I do know myself, but there are some aspects of yourself that you will never know because your brain will hide it from you until like you're confronted with this situation. Because I can say I can scream at the top of my lungs that I would give to charity and I would keep my money so that I can live a stable life and I can do good with my money. But the reality is I don't know that. Like, there's no proof that if I had a lot of money, I would suddenly become like Mr. Beast and I'd want to give money away and do so much good. There's no proof. But at the same time, I could get a lot of money and become an asshole and just be like, yeah, I'm rich. I'm going to start buying a lot of things. Like, I don't know because I've never been confronted with a lot of money. But what I do with money I get now is I hoard it because I don't want to lose my money. Like, it's like greedy to want more money, but at the same time, I don't want to lose my money. I'm not going to spend my money. Like, I will not spend money unless I feel that the amount that I spend will not cause any harm to my own financial or my own wallet. I don't fucking know. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to use big words, but the reality is I'm not smart enough for that. But it's about this just like you don't know. Because it's one thing to have like $100, $200. It's another thing to have 1 million to 2 million. Because once you have in the millions, who knows what you'll do? Like, for all I know, I could get $1 million and then be like, I'm going to be responsible and then be responsible. Or I could get $1 million and be like, yes, I can buy all these expensive things. And then I go bankrupt and I'm like, oh God, I fucked my life up. And like we all like to like think that if we became like famous or rich, that it wouldn't go to our head. But the reality is because we are not rich or famous, we do not know if it will go to our head. It might go to my head and it might not, but I'll never know because I'm not rich. And if I ever do become rich, then I'll find out. And considering I think lowly of myself, I'll probably have it go to my head. But we don't know. We don't know until we hit that point. Or, I mean, for most people, they never hit that point. So, I mean, I guess whatever. So just, I don't know. If I have an idea what I would think I would do if I was rich. What I would like to do if I was rich. But because I've never been rich, I don't know what my brain will do. My brain could just completely become an asshole. Or I could just become a better person. Or maybe nothing will change. Who knows? I'll probably never find out, and honestly, I'm okay with that because knowing that there's a chance that it could just go to your head makes me kind of never want to be rich or famous. So, yeah, I guess that's what I would think to do if I was rich, but reality is we don't know. So, yeah, whatever.